whatever their goal is, that's like the center of the universe, and people should revolve around their goals, their needs. To serve their own needs, they are ready to hurt others in the process. The question is, what if there is a narcissist in your family? How to know and how to deal with them? Now I'm making it sound like narcissists are some sort of killers who are hiding in your family undercover or something. Well, narcissists are not killers, but they sure kill a lot of happiness. So how do you know you're dealing with a narcissist? Let me lay down some central features. First one is, of course, a big bloated ego, which is like, I am better than everyone else. My needs come first. It's me, me, me. They have this notion that they are extraordinary, they are exceptional, and even that they should only associate with people who are extraordinary and exceptional. And most of that superiority is just without basis also. And thus they have this high need for admiration and regard and praise. Plus, whatever they want, whatever their goal is, that's like the center of the universe, and people should revolve around their goals, their needs. Which brings me to the second central feature, which is they are ready to ride all over you. To serve their own needs, they are ready to hurt others in the process. So first of all, they will not give you equal dignity or status as them. Like, you are in their eyes inferior to them. Like, they will keep demanding respect from you, but they won't give you any. Next one, they just lack empathy for you, right? Even if you go to them crying in pain, they can just invalidate your feelings. Like, what is this nonsense? They may call you a crybaby, they may call your emotions fake, they may call that, okay, all that pain, that doesn't mean anything, just pull yourself up. They lack the empathy to take your suffering seriously. Next one, they are very good at exploitation. It's like, I don't owe anybody anything and everybody owes everything to me. Like, whatever they can receive from others, it's never enough. Like, you can keep doing favors for them. They're like, okay, of course, I mean, you have to. They'll keep demanding more and more things. They can exploit you in terms of taking your time, your money, your energy, and they will not be interested in returning the favors. Next one, control. I mean, because it's all about them, they want control over their surroundings and people around them. They want to dominate you. They want to take all the big decisions. They want you to agree with them, comply with them. When they talk to you, they will monopolize conversations. They won't even let you talk. Basically, they want you to completely submit to their agenda. Just like get consumed in their world. Almost like a cult guru. So basically, they just have very poor conscience and morals. So they can keep giving you all the pain that they want, but it wouldn't matter. They don't abide by ethics. They don't have any. Whatever they do is justified because, well, it is benefiting them. And their own benefit is like a universal good reason to do anything. By the way, within this second central feature, which is them riding all over you, the second part would be what happens if you challenge them? Like, what happens if you stand up to them? Then they can get really aggressive and even resort to taking revenge on you. I mean, they can start with being really, really critical. They can throw a lot of judgments. They can put you down. They can call you names. They can be abusive. Sometimes they can be violent. They'll start comparing you to others. They'll speak ill about you to other people. They will do everything in their power to make you submit. But if you still don't, they can actually just cut you off from their life because they can't just let it go. They're not like, okay, I mean, if it didn't work out, let's just move on. That won't happen with them. They can get vengeful. They'll hold the grudge. Third big central feature is their loss of touch with reality and reason. I mean, a narcissist has been fooling himself or herself for years, probably decades. So first they fool themselves about themselves and then they try to fool others. They're actually living in their own alternate universe. They have concocted their own reality. They don't care about facts. In fact, any fact that goes against them is actually an inconvenience to them. They don't want to deal with facts. They can distort facts. They can distort the whole history, all the memories to spin a story that goes in their favor. They bend the narrative of reality to suit them. And they don't even want to deal with this world, which is like they have no accountability. Like they're not beholden to anyone. Like they can lose track of what they're actually doing, like where their efforts are getting them, what are the results they're achieving. They have no sense of that. And they don't care about cultural norms. So they can do whatever they want, no matter where it leads. Next big central feature is extreme closeness to feedback. Narcissists are pathologically defensive. I mean, whatever they did is right. You can never challenge it. You can never criticize it. You can never complain. They cannot do anything wrong. So there is no way you can correct them. There is no error correction in their world. If something went right, of course they did it. If something went wrong, you did it. And whenever things go wrong in their lives, they will obviously not take responsibility because they are just victims of others' wrongdoings. See, the power of compounding is enormous. So with time, if you're improving yourself, you can actually become amazing in years. But the opposite is also true. If you keep accumulating errors, it can actually lead to disastrous results, and which is what happens with narcissists. Because there is no error correction with them, errors actually keep accumulating and new errors come on top of them. And after a few years, they can reach a stage where people around them are thinking, what happened to this person? Well, nothing happened in a day. Errors just kept accumulating without any pushback because they just won't take any pushback. And the final central feature is ultimately their life is super dysfunctional and chaotic. I mean, think about it. Obviously, like if you are not in touch with reality, of course, ultimately it's going to lead to dysfunction. They're unable to hold good close relationships. They are even unable to perform productively at their work. Their health and mental health suffers ultimately. And at the end, they are victims of their own mental disorder. So if you have somebody in your house who is matching with these central and some sub features, then maybe they are a narcissist. I'll be discussing 8 important points to deal with them. So the first point is something for you to remember, which is gonna actually adjust your expectations from them. So the first one is you cannot change them. You will have to let go of that project. This person is pretty much a lost cause now. You can only and only deal with them. Like even in the field of psychology, a mental disorder, which is one of the most resistant to psychotherapy, is narcissistic personality disorder. I mean, it may take years and years of therapy with a specialist, but it may still not work. So internally, you have to accept that, yes, I have lost this person to this mental illness. That person is pretty much psychologically tapped out. It's sad, but it's out of your control. I mean, I wish there was some reliable cure for it. As of now, if anything can work, it's pretty much psychotherapy, talk therapy. There is no medicine for it. So you should accept that in advance. Otherwise, you'll just be banging your head against the wall. It will not break the wall. You'll just hurt yourself. So the second thing that you can do is the most important thing, which is you can ultimately learn to take less pain from them. You need to learn to deal with them. Because many times, if a close family member becomes a narcissist, you can't just leave them. You can't just run away. You can't just kick them out of the house. You still have to coexist. So your first goal is, in that coexistence, how do I take less pain? So the starting point is you have to maintain your own individuality, because that person is out there to consume you, to dominate you, to control you. And that's the part you have to resist first through very strong boundaries around yourself. For example, when you are in a conversation with them, you don't have to agree with everything that they say. You can politely disagree. When they ask you to do things, when they give you commands, you can say no. You should say no. You have the right to not comply. You should be able to live your life based on your desires, on your beliefs. But of course, when you challenge them, when you go against what they are asking, they will hate it. And they can do everything in their power to get the control back, like I mentioned in the features. So you have to be prepared that there will be a lot of negative emotions that they will throw at you, right? They can even give you threats. They can take decisions that can actually hurt you. They can be violent. You have to mentally prepare yourself to tackle them at any level of force that they are bringing. Be prepared for it. Don't back down, because I can almost guarantee you that if you keep your boundaries strong enough, there will be a stage where the other person, the narcissist, will learn that, oh, I really cannot cross them. Even if they won't change inside, but they will learn to back off. And if things really go out of hand, do not be afraid to involve other people. At the end of that struggle, again, the goal is simply that you live your life, I live mine in this house. Let's just coexist. So basically getting to a stage where they cannot ride all over you. Now I'll get to some specific features also. So the third point is, do not take their blame seriously. A narcissist will blame you for innumerable things. Like anything goes wrong in their life, they'll blame you. They'll see you making a mistake, of course they'll blame you. Since they can't accept their own faults, only person who could be making faults is you, right? They will also blame you for the relationship falling apart. They can blame you for their relationship being ruined with somebody else. Their creativity in blaming is endless, and their creativity in becoming a victim is also endless. But this can actually be very heavy on you, because when they repeat it again and again and again, like a part of you actually starts believing it. Like the good old, if you throw enough dirt, some will stick. I mean, let's say you did make a mistake. Like it could be a very small one, but through their blame, that can get really exaggerated, and then you can start feeling guilty. So basically, when their blame game starts, you have to start to learn ignoring it. You have to hold on to your own objectivity that, no, I'm not at fault here. It's just their narcissism talking. They are not in touch with reality. And you can double check by reminding yourself of the opinion of other people. What do other people say about you in that scenario? Most likely, other people will not be on the narcissist side, because again, if they were on the side of the narcissist, probably the narcissist had some touch with reality. So usually their opinions are just exotic, their blames are baseless, and you have to remind yourself it's just this person talking, and actually it's their mental illness talking. Keep reminding yourself that you are a good person. Even if you did make a mistake, does not mean that you don't deserve dignity and respect. Whether you were right or wrong, there is no way you should be treated like that. Constant victimhood is part of their illness. Don't buy it. Fourth, as you deal with them, don't get dragged into the same old arguments. Like a feature of narcissist would be, they will drag you into an argument and then they will call you argumentative. They will come at at you with aggression but ultimately blame you for starting the fight. Please remember that most of the arguments that you've had with the narcissist, you've had them for hundreds or thousands of times. There's no point getting into them again and again. You will never convince them of anything. Do not waste your time and energy. Your reasoning, your basic logic would not work on them. They are living in a different reality. So save your time and energy, invest it in something else. Go watch TV, go play some sports, go listen to some music, meet some friends, take some rest, eat good food, whatever. Don't get dragged into the same argument. So when they come fishing for an argument, they just want to start something, you have to back off. Don't play the game. Like, I don't feel like talking, I'm not in the mood right now. We've done that several times, I will not be talking. Even if it means you have to lock yourself in the room, you have to put on some earphones, you have to go to the roof, or sometimes you can do it tactfully also, which is, okay, that's what you want to say? I heard you. Okay, I understand. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, of course they're not right. You are basically trying to get away from the conversation. You have to resist the urge to prove yourself. You have to resist the urge to establish the truth with them. Fifth, like I said earlier, it's very likely that if you draw boundaries, if you challenge them, they will ultimately cut off from you. Despite you being a close family member, they can very easily say, oh, I'm done talking to you for life. I don't want to see your face ever again. And I know it's hard to lose a family member like that, but it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself for the collapse of the relationship. If they cut off from you, just accept that and invest yourself in other relationships. I know it will seem odd, living in the same house but living like strangers. But again, this is not on you. Sixth, they will start a smear campaign against you. Be prepared. Yes, not only will they cut you off, they can actually start talking bad about you to other people. Because now they are seeking sympathy or agreement from other people. They want to make you look like, okay, you are the outlier one. They want other people to come on their side. And for that, they will go around talking shit about you. Here also, don't worry about it. Don't worry about your reputation. If you are a decent, normal, capable person, people around you know that. And if that person is a narcissist, people around you also know that. Even if they don't use the word, they pretty much know that that person has lost it. So you will always have way more credibility than that person. But don't worry about your reputation, your image. They are going to talk bad about you to seek validation. That's their need. So you have to have the attitude like, okay, you do whatever you want. I know for a fact that if I live a good life, I know that people will like me. They will continue to have a relationship with me. I will still have enough goodwill in the world to survive and thrive. And that's what happens. In the long run, people judge you by your behaviors, not by somebody else's smear campaign. Yes, they may gossip a little that, oh, like look at this family, like what is happening? One person is talking shit about somebody else. But yeah, again, gossip happens. It's out of your control. Something you have to make peace with. Because if you start becoming angry at it, you will try to fight with that person. You will try to make them stop. But they won't because they're not listening. So just have this attitude. You do whatever you want. I'll do whatever I want. Seventh, this one may not apply to everyone, but still important. You may have to protect some of your family members from that narcissist. Let's say after listening to this or doing a lot of research or going to therapy, you become stronger. You decide to stand up to that person, but doesn't mean everybody else in your family will also become stronger along with you. They may still need a lot of support. So all the rest of the family members really need to support each other against that person. For example, if it's a narcissistic father, the mother may have to actually remove the children from the house. Like all three of them may have to move out. And if it's a narcissistic husband, the children, if they are adult, they can actually help the mom move out of the house. Or they can support her financially so she can take her own decisions. Whoever is most affected by this narcissist may need a lot of emotional support from rest of the others. So it's like you need to have that internal support group within the family. Eighth and final one, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but keep this one in mind. So even with narcissism, there is intensity, right? Not all narcissists are equals. So if somebody who has like a proper narcissistic personality disorder, they are probably among less than 1% of the population because that's very severe. But then there are narcissists at lower level also, like lower intensity also. So what I'm saying is, despite your family member being a narcissist, there still may be some good things about them. There may be some part of them which you can still relate with. There may be some activities that you can still enjoy with them. So yeah, even though 90-95% of the relationship is gone, you can still hold on to that remaining 5 or 10%. You can still do things that you enjoy with them. You can still joke around. You can still play around with them. And you would only be able to enjoy the remaining positivity if you're actually internally very strong, where you don't have the fear that they can just take over anytime. Because if you're afraid of their aggression, if you're afraid of them taking control of you, you would always be anxious around them. So this last point can only come if you are genuinely psychologically very strong and if you have very strong boundaries around yourself. By the way, I also learned a lot about intricacies and subtleties of narcissism through this YouTube channel called Surviving Narcissism. Please go check that out. It's amazing. There are hundreds of videos just on narcissism. They are not sponsoring me or anything. I just learned a lot from that channel. I recently also made a video where I talk about how to be mentally strong when others judge you, you can watch it here. Link is also in the description. Shridhar Life School is a team of psychologists who specialize in counseling. If you're going through very difficult times or you want to achieve higher well-being, we offer one-on-one counseling for individuals, couples, parents and their children. To book sessions, go to our website shridharlifeschool.com.